prep my face with Yulay pre-shave oil. And today, by request, is going to be a rather strange, almost blasphemous shave, because I'm going to be using one of these. Remember these? Yeah, disposable twin blade razor made by the folks at Barbasol, or at least it has their name on it, at our Dollar Tree dollar stores, which are similar to the Everything's a Dollar store or the 99-cent stores or whatever. These are $1 for 5 of them. So yeah, this ought to be interesting. Second use on this, because I've been a bad boy and I actually used this one day. I got curious and well, also I was in kind of a hurry, I guess. I'm going to be using this also from Dollar Tree, Assured men's shaving cream, the sensitive variety. I always have a little trouble getting this thing off. I used to throw this part, the cap, away, but I tend to keep things nowadays, and that's even more difficult to get back on here. So I didn't used to prep my face with pre-shave oil before I used a can of goo like this, but today I thought I would go ahead and do that. And I'll get some lather going here. I let the oil soak in for several minutes here. Otherwise, if you don't let oil soak in, it can interfere with making a lather, even with this stuff. And this isn't even the best of the canned goo. I mean, for $1, you know. Barbasol, in some places for $1 or less, you can get a pretty good sized can of their goo, and it's actually not too bad. It's better than their razors, I can tell you that right now, as far as canned goo goes. By the way, I hope you're all doing well out there. I hope you're having a good week so far. I hope the rest of the week will be good for you. And yeah, this stuff, even for canned goo, doesn't lather all that well, but it is what it is, folks. I'm going to rinse my hand off here. Get all that off there. Hi, how's it going? And now I'll wet the razor. Something else I didn't used to do, pass number 1 with the grain. I used to just do a one and done pass, which was, oh, I suppose, in some ways going every which direction. Another reason I decided to take this challenge, so to speak, to do this requested shave is, well, a couple of other guys were doing these kind of cheap shaves, a couple of the heavy hitters, and also I don't have that much growth today. My last night's shave was a little bit later than this and very efficient and pretty comfortable. I'm going to rinse the razor now. That didn't take long, so I may or may not have put a transition in there. Usually it takes me a little while to rinse the razor. You cannot really easily use shaving soap or good shaving creams from a tube or a tub with one of these razors, because they gunk up so easily, and the goo in the can is usually fairly thin. Yeah, not gunking up so far, but that is just because I'm using the stuff in a can. Still working on coming to you from another bathroom sometime, but we'll see about that. I'll just keep talking here. It doesn't take long to rinse these, unless you're using some good shaving cream, and then of course, like I said, well, as I indicated, it takes a lot longer then to rinse the razor, and you may not get all the goo out of it. Or gunk. or just soap or cream, whatever. Hair. And I'm just going to keep talking while I do this. Now, what I used to do here is when I got to my neck, I would start going upwards, but I'll go ahead and do what is at least supposed to be with the grain. On my neck, I sometimes wonder. But I'll go ahead and do the downward stroke. I think my first shave with this razor, I did try to use some nice shaving soap, or at least some decent shaving soap. It might have been a fairly inexpensive puck, I don't remember, but yeah, it wasn't working too well. I almost felt like I gave myself a weeper even with this thing. And these are not the best in the West as far as disposables go. The yellow Bic razors, for an inexpensive price, are pretty good. The disposables. And those didn't used to be so good. They improved them at some point. It used to be every time I shaved with one of those, I cut myself, gave myself weepers and bleeders, but at some point, I couldn't say when, back in the 90s or early 2000s maybe, I think, they really improved those. That's pass number one. I'm going to rinse the razor, but I'm just going to keep going here. Usually I cut away here and re-lather off camera because that takes a minute, but this shouldn't take too long. Go in a can again. You just watch me attempt to re-lather here. Some say you're supposed to wet your face before you do this, but sometimes when I do that, it don't work out too well. Of course, it also, I'm sure, depends upon what brand of goo you have. And once again, this is just the Dollar Tree Assured brand. At least Assured. I think that's an old brand, an old economy brand that is now sold at Dollar Tree here. I don't know if it's sold exclusively there, but somebody even had, on eBay, they had a vintage, I don't know how old vintage was for this, but basically the same thing in a red can with a similar design that they were selling. Okay, now that's good enough for that. I'll rinse my hand off again and wipe it off here. Start going across the grain for pass number 2. No fun transition there. Getting a little bit of audio feedback, especially there. Getting close to where my trouble spots are there. It'll be interesting to see what kind of shave I get with this. I suppose it's possible to get a halfway decent shave with this setup here, but you never know. Excuse me. I would tell you more about what's going on in my life right now, but certain things seem to be still somewhat up in the air, and I don't like to say too much. I don't know if it's so much I don't want to jinx things. I think that's part of it, but also, you know, the old saying attributed to John Lennon, if what I read online is correct, but the old saying, life is what happens when you're making other plans. And so it shall be. So it is. I guess I'm not going to do any transitions in this video. I'm just going to keep shaving and talking. Once or twice before, off camera, I have tried the 3-pass and pickup system using both a disposable and a cartridge at different times, but I still don't remember getting very good shaves that way. But today, excuse me again, without having maybe as much growth and shaving a little bit earlier than I did last night, well, I might be better set up facially to not be too disappointed in the shave. I suppose the less growth you have, the better when you're using a disposable and a can of goo. And this may be the first time that I've ever prepped my face before shaving. Actually, I think I might have prepped my face before using a cartridge razor. Let me show you this. I've shown you this before on another installment of this in this channel, but I have that. It holds a Mach 3 cartridge, and this is my last of my Mach 3 cartridges. So over 3 or 4 years, I gave 1 or 2 of these away too. I had 5 of these, and they cost me like $17.50 or something like that at another dollar store. That is not, it's not an everything's a dollar store, Dollar General, I think. But and this came with a really nice setup here. I might as well go ahead and show you that again and hope I don't drop everything, because everything's kind of precariously balanced. That came with that, and this brush I used to use, but in the center of it, it has hairs falling out, and I need to get that re-knotted. And it came with a puck of So-So soap, and I have a nice puck of Arco in that little container there now. Oh, let me rinse this razor again. And while I'm at it, I'll just show you. Maybe you can see the center of that brush. It was in the center that hairs just started falling out. I didn't pluck them out, they just started falling out. So I need to get this re-knotted. It's a nice brush, but that hopefully down the line I can get that done. But yeah, a cartridge razor, it would have been nicer if that had come with a double-edged razor. There may be a way that somebody could turn that thing that I have there into a double-edged razor. Or maybe I could find a double-edged razor with that same kind of handle that fits that stand there. I like the fact that that stand came with its own mirror too. I once left a good Gillette twist to open, well, some kind of super speed razor, I think it was. I left it somewhere because I had to get on a plane, and it's a long story, but I didn't have any blades in it, or if I did, I could have taken the blades out, but I got like really paranoid, and I was afraid that even without blades, they might try to confiscate it from me at the airport, so I just left it at a relative's house. A relative that I, for both our sakes, don't have any contact with anymore. That's a long story. Relatives can be a mixed blessing, and I'm sure they feel the same way about me. I'm going to rinse the razor and re-lather for a third pass against the grain. Pretty crazy. Life is truly what happens when you're making other plans, I guess. Of course, you don't want it to be too much that way. Without some stability, some permanence, to me anyway, life gets untenable, and I don't accept change very well. And I've been kicking the can down the road as far as some nice surprises I wanted to have for this channel, but keep watching, and hopefully soon. I'm giving a certain vendor plenty of time somebody that I want to help me do a group soap, a group and a channel soap, and but this person is very busy, so I don't want to push it, and etc., etc. I might be moving, blah blah blah. Rinse the hand off, and we'll go against the grain here. I'll go ahead and start on the neck here. You know, this sure isn't how I used to do it. Used to do kind of a one and done pass, and if I felt like it or had time, I would do some pickups, touch-ups, which I would do all over my face, and especially on the neck. I think that's when I would start going downward on the neck. As for a one and done pass, yeah, I would go down on the face and up on the neck. Did I do a transition there? I probably should have. That took a second to rinse this, but not very long. I would just do one of those page-turning transitions when I was rinsing a razor, because oftentimes, even with a razor that has maybe a wider blade gap and or is just really easy to rinse, that is to say one could rinse it quickly, I'm still kind of OCD about my razor rinsing. That's why you might, when I go down below to rinse off a razor, that's why you might see a page turning transition, and then I reappear back up here ready to shave again. But I'll just do this kind of like I used to do it. I'm just doing it with more passes now. As a general rule, I don't think I did it an against the grain pass per se on my face. Definitely on the neck, I guess, but not on the face so much. I want to look at this again. Yeah, it's in pretty good shape. It might be a little bit gunked up. I don't know if that's because I used some pre-shave oil. It's not too bad. It's all right. Never used to use pre-shave oil. And then when I got my first pre-shave oils, pre-shave creams usually weren't a problem, but pre-shave oils, I wasn't letting them absorb. That is to say, I would start lathering immediately after I put on the oil, and then the oil would often interfere with the lather. But since I let the oil sit for a minute or two now, sometimes 5 minutes, or sometimes I'll go outside to smoke a cigarette or two, and I'll be out there maybe 20 minutes sometimes, and then come in and lather and shave. So it's just something I do, but it does help. I was talking to someone that knows about these things that told me it's a really good idea to put oil or cream, some kind of pre-shave on your face. It's good for the skin in the long run. Everybody has different skin, though. And my face, now you might think I wouldn't need a pre-shave because my face and my neck are the one area of my body that is still oily, like a teenager's skin is often more oily, whether or not they have acne. And as a rule of thumb, our skin tends to get drier as we get older. I've definitely noticed that from the neck down anyway. That's why in the shower I have to use a sort of a beauty bar, something that's got, well, I guess it's got petroleum jelly, something like that in it. Oil or something to soften the skin. And then when I washed my face in the shower for a second time, the first time I just washed it with the shampoo I was using, but the second time I used a bar of soap that was very drying. And the person I was talking to that was telling me about pre-shaves was saying, oh, you shouldn't use a drying soap bar on your face. But then I told that person that, well, that I have oily skin somewhat still on my face. She said that French people, well, it's a she that said this, French people are often that way. I'm not French, but in my background on my mother's side, I'm Flemish. So that's kind of like being French. Flanders now being part of Belgium and France. But we came through England on my mother's side, and, well, it's a long story. Anyway, now I guess I'll go ahead and do pickups, and I might as well put one little special effect in here. Ladies and gentlemen, it is pickup time. There you go. Gotta have one, at least one fun little thing in there for you to make you feel like you're watching the right channel and haven't tuned into, oh, I don't know, even Cheap Shaver, if he still does videos, he ain't this cheap. There was a gentleman called his channel Cheap Shaver, but I don't remember him ever using a can of goo and a disposable razor. Now, at the Dollar Tree where I got this goo, you can, for $1, get a can of Barbasol, but it's a smaller can. And if you go to Walmart or some of your grocery stores, depending on which one, you can, for $1, sometimes for only 99 cents or 89 cents, you can get a can of Barbasol that is almost this big. This is a pretty good sized can of goo. So if you're only into cans of goos and you're not, if you're not worried about quality or this, that, and the other thing, yeah, it is a good value if you're a proponent of it is what it is. Now look what I've done. Pickups, I'm supposed to just do my neck, but I guess because I used to do one pickup pass right after the one and done pass, and I didn't always do the pickup pass, but when I did, when I had more time, I would just kind of relather and then just kind of go over some things on the face and the neck. So I guess this is in keeping with how it used to be. I kind of got to get done here soon, because even though well, probably because I'm not having any major transitions, I'm running over here. And this kind of shaving used to be, well, it was about expediency more than anything, I think. These razor companies will still try to sell you some products, some of which are better than others, with the idea that this kind of shaving is about more than expediency, but as a general rule, no, it's just about getting it done. So here's true pickup time as we know it, doing the neck. Pickups or touch-ups. In fact, I know one way to keep this video at least under 30 minutes. I'll finish up the same way I used to finish up if I did anything after the actual shave. Oddly enough, there's some slickness there. Of course, this has a little thing on it, like a lot of these razors do, these disposables nowadays, the little lubrication strip. But I don't think I'm going to go too crazy there. If I do any more touch-ups, I'll do them off camera. But just for right now, I got to be honest with you, I couldn't even call this a DFS, a darn fine shave. Couldn't even really call you that. It needs a little bit of work. I mean, I couldn't call it that. Did I say I couldn't call you that? Yeah, you're a darn fine shave out there, buddy. Or ma'am. Okay, well, I didn't used to do rinse hazel. Two different thoughts there, two separate thoughts. I didn't used to rinse my face, and I didn't used to use witch hazel, so I won't. If I had aftershave, which I usually didn't, but if I did, I'd get something like this, the Dollar Tree Blue aftershave. Guess how much it costs? If you said $1, you're absolutely right. You win the Cupid doll. I don't know why I winked at you, because you did. If you said $1, you're right. It's not like some inside joke, except about how cheap this stuff is. But for $1, hey, it's not that bad. And there may be some sting here. Oh yeah. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Turn into a monkey at the zoo there. And then that would be it. Wipe this off. Wipe it off on our good friend who we didn't get to see yet, Mr. Towel. There he is. That's crazy. Hey, thanks for watching. This has been real fun for somebody. I've had better shaves, but hey, it's nice talking to all of you out there. You've kept this channel a lot of fun by your continued viewership. So thank you. Have a great west of your week. Yeah, have a great west of your week. Have a great rest of your week, and I will hopefully see you this time in some bathroom next week. Peace.